Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 19th of April 2022. Back to normal today after the Easter weekend, and looking through a few bits of news, there's several things that caught my eye today actually. I'm just going to look here to remind myself of the things I've seen. First thing, federal judge declares enforcement of muzzle mandates on public transport unlawful. And this is obviously in the USA, and this has meant that the Biden administration has suspended enforcement of muzzles for airports, planes, and other forms of travel today, after this judge said that the centres, the CDC, overstepped its authority. So we're seeing more and more of these either judgments or court cases, etc., really sort of kicking these government mandates into touch, saying that sort of authority has been overstepped, and it's just another one in a quite a long line, and it's very pleasing to see. And I also noticed that Scotland at long last has ditched the muzzles as well. And it's quite interesting to see that Sturgeon has actually been done for not wearing one when the mandate was still in place, which, to be honest with you, I've got mixed feelings about. I mean, if it brings her down and gets her sort of out of office, that would be great. But the downside of it is I don't really like to see any kind of muzzleage being enforced by the law. So a little bit mixed feelings on that one personally. But like I say, if it means we're going to see the back of her, that would be fantastic. And speaking of horrendous harridans, I noticed another article. Jacinda Ardern has left New Zealand for the first time since the whole nonsense started, to go to some Far Eastern countries to promote tourism to New Zealand. Well, the only thing I'm going to say about that is I reckon the best thing that she can do to promote New Zealand tourism is for her to take a hike, because I don't know about you, but I won't be going to New Zealand for as long as she's still in power. So if she wants me to go there, and probably a heck of a lot of other people, she'd do best for New Zealand tourism just by resigning. Another couple of things I've seen, just looking at a couple of really interesting graphs actually, going back to muzzles. There's a couple of graphs. One is between, I think, US states that had high levels of muzzleage, and ones with low levels of muzzleage, and there's sort of graphs showing daily new cases per 100k people, and the graph shows a line for mandated places and ones with no mandates. And there's another similar graph showing the same kind of thing between Germany and Sweden. Obviously Germany were very hot on the muzzleage, and Sweden weren't. Sweden only had sort of about 9% muzzleage compliance apparently, and the graphs kind of just are almost pretty much identical. So it just goes to show you that the whole muzzleage thing has been a load of nonsense, and a load of ridiculous nonsense, in fact. And I'm just going to move on to a slightly more serious thing. I haven't really talked about this yet, but this whole thing in Shanghai is diabolical, isn't it? They've literally sort of put the whole city of Shanghai into this terrible, the most fierce, evil lockdown that the world has seen so far. And literally they're kind of locking residents into their flats, not allowing them to leave, not even allowing them to have windows open, I don't think, and if you go onto your balcony, you have to have, again, a muzzle on, otherwise you get fined. And then the facial recognition will just fine you or identify you and then fine you straight out of your digital currency account. So that's lovely, isn't it? But it is absolutely horrendous. And the noticeable thing is how Western leaders haven't been kind of complaining, basically, or there hasn't been a kind of an outcry about the whole Shanghai thing from the West. And it just sort of makes you wonder, are they doing that? Are all these leaders not kind of remonstrating with China because, well, probably they don't want to upset the apple cart with China, upset China. But does it mean that they'd like to ideally bring in lockdowns again here? Well, that's not going to fly as far as we're concerned. Here in England, no one will accept another lockdown, I don't think, here. But yeah, it just makes you wonder what's going on, really. I'll leave it here with a link. I saw a very interesting article in a publication called The Conservative Woman, and that's quite a good publication. Unlike the name suggests, it's really good reading for a whole variety of people, not just conservative women, and they're sort of very pro our stance, looking at some of their articles. But if you want to go there and read this article about Shanghai, let's just see what it was called again. The Horror of the New Chinese Lockdown by Karen Harradine. All you've got to do is just go on to their website, conservativewoman.co.uk, and you'll just see the main stories there, and you just scroll down. It's about eight, nine sort of stories down, and then you'll see it, the horror of the new Chinese lockdown, and then you can read a pretty good piece that talks about how horrendous it is and why the Western leaders aren't complaining to China about it. So I'll let you go and look at that if you want, and I'll be back tomorrow. Tim from Fair Play Now, thanks for watching.